The Browns absolutely dominated the Miami Dolphins.
31-9. That's right, 31-9. The dog pound came alive today. And once again,
We're sitting here trying to figure out the same thing we've been asking for weeks now. Where is Shedeur Sanders? Because this game, this performance, it wasn't about Dillon Gabriel.
not even close. Now don't get me wrong, I'm hyped about this win.
The defense looked nasty. The energy, the communication, the aggression. It was everything you want from a Cleveland defense. They were flying to the football, making Tua's day miserable, forcing mistakes, and just setting the tone early. But offensively,
Let's be real here.
this game was about one man, one absolute beast of a running back, Quinshon Judkins.
The kid went off. 3 touchdowns.
25 carries, pure power, vision, and patience.
He was the offense tonight, and I already know what's about to happen.
Kevin Stefanski's gonna step up to the podium. He's gonna smile, thank the defense.
Talk about team execution, and probably find a way to make Dillon Gabriel sound like the reason this game was so balanced.
But come on, man.
We all watched it. We saw exactly what happened. Dillon Gabriel was out there managing, not leading. 13 completions on 18 attempts for 116 yards.
That's not winning football in the NFL. That's playing not to lose. And it's not fooling anybody. And here I am trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you.
Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue. Now,
I didn't even bother watching Stefanski's post-game presser because honestly,
I'm tired of hearing the same talking points every week about game flow, weather conditions, scheme fits, or whatever excuse they cook up for why Shedeur Sanders still hasn't touched the field. Look, it rained a bit, sure. The run game was working, sure.
the defense was bowling, sure. But let's not act like Gabriel's performance made that happen. It was everyone around him that carried the load. And you can see the frustration all over social media right now.
Go on the Browns' Instagram. The comments are wild.
Fans are flooding the replies, asking the same question I've been asking since preseason. What do you have against Shedeur Sanders? Tired of boring phone cases? Here's your chance. My Etsy shop is packed with exclusive designs that let you show off your team pride in style. And the best part, you'll unlock discounts when you hit favorite, more savings when you add to cart, and even surprise discounts on your second purchase. Don't wait. Click the link in the description and grab your favorite now. Why won't you even give the kid a drive when the game's basically over? You're up by 3 scores. The crowd's chanting. And we're all just sitting there thinking, come on, give Shedeur a series. Let's see what he's got. But no, they kept rolling with Dillon Gabriel, who's still checking it down on 3rd and long, like we haven't been through this movie before. And look, I don't hate the guy.
Gabriel's a competitor.
He's doing what he can.
But at some point, you've got to ask yourself, what's the ceiling here? Because if all we're ever going to get from him is short passes and game management, that's not going to win us playoff games in January.
We need a spark. We need that young fire. We need a quarterback who can elevate this offense when the run game isn't clicking and the defense can't bail us out. And I'm telling you right now, Shedeur Sanders brings that element. He's got poise, arm talent, and leadership that can shift the whole vibe of this team.
You can feel it. Every fan in Cleveland can feel it. It's like the Browns are right on the edge of something special, but they just won't take the leap.
And I get it. The staff probably doesn't want to throw him into the fire too early. They want to control the situation, keep things steady. But football doesn't reward comfort.
It rewards risk takers, the ones willing to go for greatness when it's right there in front of them. I mean, let's look at the reality.
We didn't see Shedeur today because the run game was dominant and the defense handled business. That's fine. But that doesn't change the bigger picture. Dillon Gabriel didn't win this game.
Quinshon Judkins and that defensive front did.
And if we're keeping it real, the numbers back it up. 13 completions, 116 yards.
That's barely over 6 yards a throw.
Come on, y'all. That's not gonna scare any defense down the stretch. I'm just keeping it a buck, man. This isn't hate. This is accountability. We've been through too many false starts, too many next man up excuses, too many years of waiting on the franchise quarterback that never arrives. And now, for once, we've got a generational talent sitting right there on the sideline. Shedeur Sanders, waiting for his shot, waiting to bring a new energy to Cleveland. And the fans, we're ready. The dog pound's ready. You can feel that hunger in the air. So yeah, I'm celebrating this win. Don't get it twisted. 31-9 is a statement. The Browns handled business, did what they were supposed to do. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The future's sitting right there holding a clipboard, and every fan in that stadium knows it. But let's be real about what we just saw. This wasn't some kind of offensive showcase where Dillon Gabriel went out there and silenced the doubters. Nah. This was one of those games where you could tell from the very first few throws. Stefanski saw the look, saw how that ball was coming out, and said, "Nope, we're not doing this today." You could almost feel it from the sideline. The plan changed midstream. See, Dillon's been nursing that ankle injury since week 1, and early on, it just wasn't clicking. He was off rhythm, the offense was sputtering, and you could tell Stefanski wanted no part of forcing something that wasn't there. So what did they do? They flipped the entire script. They said, "You know what? Let's give the rock to the young bull, Quinton Judkins." And man, that kid delivered. They came out in that wildcat formation. Sean Jenkins calling the play. Judkins lined up deep, takes the direct snap, pounds that Miami defense, little bobble on the exchange. Doesn't matter. Regains control, drives his legs, and boom, touchdown Cleveland Browns. The dog pound goes wild. Now, let's pause right there, because that moment tells you everything you need to know about this team right now. They didn't even trust Dillon Gabriel to be under center on the goal line. Not once, not twice. Every single time they got close, they said, "Let's go Wildcat." And I don't care how you try to spin that. When you're supposed to be evaluating your quarterback of the future, and you're not letting him touch the ball in scoring situations, that says a lot. Now, coming into this game, the whole storyline was about Kevin Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel. Could they look like a competent offense? Could they find a rhythm, get a win, and show something for the future? Well, they solved half that equation. They got the win. But competent offense? That's another story. And let's be honest, this game was desperation mode for Cleveland. You're sitting there 1-5, going up against a 1-5 Dolphins team. You can't lose that game. You cannot lose that game. That's the kind of loss that gets the locker room chirping. That's the kind of loss that has players talking behind the scenes, wondering who's next. So, Stefanski did what any coach trying to survive does. He simplified the plan. We're going to hand it off to the young legs, control the clock, and find a creative way to throw it just enough to keep Miami honest. And that's exactly what they did. But let's not forget, this season was supposed to be about evaluation. It's supposed to be about figuring out whether Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders is your guy. That's what we were told all offseason. And yet, here we are, 7 weeks in. And it feels like they're avoiding that evaluation more than anything. Last week, they had Gabriel drop back 58 times against Pittsburgh. 58. And somehow, the Steelers didn't walk out of that game with 3 picks, which honestly feels like a miracle. He was sailing passes, throwing late, missing reads. It was rough. So this week, Stefanski completely flipped the game plan, took the ball right out of his hands. And you know what? It worked. Quinton Judkins went off for over 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. The dude was electric. He ran angry, like he had something to prove. A 46-yard touchdown run that just broke Miami's spirit. That was the dagger. But here's the thing that's got everyone talking right now. And I mean, everyone. When the game was pretty much over in the 4th quarter, Miami had already waved the white flag. Tua was on the bench, and the Browns were up big. There was a golden opportunity to put Shedeur Sanders in the game. Just for a few snaps. Just to let the kid get his feet wet. And what did Stefanski do? He kept Dillon Gabriel out there. For what? To pad his stats. Because if he'd come out of that game right then, Gabriel would have had under 100 yards passing. That's the truth. And we all know why Stefanski didn't make the switch. Because if Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field, even for one drive, the entire conversation around the Browns this week becomes about him. Every question from the media, every headline, every fan discussion. How did Shedeur look? What could he have done better? How does he compare to Gabriel? And you know what? Stefanski didn't want that smoke. Not after a win. He wanted the story this week to be simple. We beat Miami. We won by 25. We're preparing for New England. He didn't want distractions. He didn't want a quarterback controversy brewing in the middle of a rare blowout victory. And look, I get it. I really do. I understand not wanting to throw Shedeur out there in wet grass with bad weather just for garbage time. I understand wanting to protect him from unnecessary hits.
But at the same time, how's this kid supposed to grow if he never gets a chance to even breathe on the field? When Dillon Gabriel was the backup behind Joe Flacco, he got those garbage time reps. That's how you get comfortable.
That's how you learn the speed of the NFL. And if Gabriel is now the starter, then by that same logic, Shedeur deserves those same reps. Because here's what doesn't make sense. If Dillon Gabriel is truly your guy, if he's the one you believe gives you the best chance to win, then why risk him in a blowout?
Why keep him in a game that's already decided?
The only reason you do that
Is because you're trying to keep Shedeur Sanders off the field, and Browns fans know it. They feel it.
You can sense the frustration building. Before kickoff, fans were already calling for Shedeur. You see it online, you hear it in the stadium. People are ready for something new, and honestly, I don't blame them. Because right now, the Browns' offense just feels lifeless. There's no spark, no creativity, no rhythm. The only thing exciting about this team right now is the defense. And even that has its limits. Because once the opponent scores 20 points, it's like, that's it. Game over. So when I look at this situation, I don't think we're in an evaluation year anymore.
I think we're in a stalling year.
Stefanski is buying time. The longer he can keep Shedeur Sanders off the field, the better he looks.
Because as the season goes on, injuries will happen. And by the time Shedeur finally gets his shot, it might be behind a depleted offensive line, with no Judkins in the backfield,
No Garrett on defense, no rhythm, no stability. And then people will say, see?
he's not ready. It's a chess game.
A frustrating, political, layered chess game. And fans are starting to see right through it. But me, I just want to see fairness. I want to see Shedeur Sanders evaluated in the same conditions Gabriel was.
With a healthy Judkins, a healthy defense, a full coaching staff giving their best.
Because only then can we really know what we've got. And look, I predicted this team would go 8-9. So if anybody should be mad, it's me. Because right now, this team doesn't even look like an 8-win team. But I still believe the pieces are there. The defense is legit, Judkins is a monster, and the fan base deserves better. So yeah, celebrate the win. 31-9 feels good.
But don't get distracted.
Because underneath that scoreboard, there's still a quarterback controversy simmering. And sooner or later, it's going to boil over. Anyway, that's my take.
Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.
Should Shedeur have gotten a shot in the fourth quarter? Are you buying this evaluation year narrative, or do you think Stefanski's just playing keep away? Hit that like button if you're rocking with the content, and if you're new here, hit subscribe. Because we're going to be talking Browns football all season long.